Hello, Pisces. Welcome to your reading with me, Cindy. Pisces, we are doing the Dark Mirror Oracle this week. And I'm looking at really interesting questions about you right now and you in the future. You have some interesting energy right now. It verges a bit on Scorpionic, which I'm going to be honest, out of the three water signs, I feel like you and Scorpio have some similarities in terms of like your house placements. I know, like, I don't know. I just get that vibe and I'm totally getting it in this reading right now. So there's something that you are obsessing over. I don't know what it is. And I'm actually not trying to make a hard or fast rule about if I pull tarot out in this reading, these readings this week. I have the oracle cards out already. I do need some time with them because these are really deep messages and the cards that come out here. So I don't know. I'm gonna see. I'm just gonna see. Like, I felt like in Aquarius that it would dilute the reading. I'm not sure about that with you, but just okay. So what have you been working on? Obsession. Like, you have the obsession card. There could be something that you are really obsessed about, right? Like, I need to get this done. I need to do this the right way. I want to write my first book. I want to write my first song. You know, again, it could be anything. It's a very open-ended. But with the obsession card, it talks about like there is nothing else that exists except this. This is all that exists for you. And you've been working on that. So I don't know if it's something like, I'm wondering if it's something that maybe is an unhealthy obsession and you've been working, like it could be something, it could be like thoughts that run through your mind even, right? Like you could have a certain train of thoughts that start kind of spinning in your head after you have certain social engagements or something happens in your life. So you may or may not even be aware of this, but the fact that it's, you know, what you've been working on, I think what if it's something obsessively here? You've been obsessively working. Is it your obsession? You've been working on your obsession? What is that? Like, that just feels very Piscean to me too. Well, you'll see there's a Piscean and Scorpio. I'm getting a heavy Pisces Scorpio energy. So it kind of comes across to me as the things that are very mysterious and hidden, but they could also be like things that we are intentionally, to me, like that's where the more Scorpio, like I feel like Neptune is kind of like, it hides these things and there's mysteries in there. And we kind of like, oh, we find ourselves in that element or that frame of mind, where Scorpio, I feel like, is more like, I have this and I'm hiding it. I don't want anyone to see it or know it. And, you know, like, you kind of flip-flop for me in that energy here. Okay, so that's what you've been working on, an obsession, maybe something that you have an obsession over. Maybe you're a little obsessive about, maybe you're a little obsessive about things. Maybe you have a little bit of OCD, and maybe you're kind of like feeling like, okay, I have some little weird quirks here and they're actually starting to take over my life. They're having more control over me than I'm becoming obsessed with these things. Yeah, I don't know. I'm starting to get like a little obsessive with the energy. What have you been healing? Sacrifice. That's interesting. You've been healing a sacrifice. In what way have you made a sacrifice here? So either you're healing from a sacrifice that you've made, and a sacrifice, it's interesting, right? I love like this medieval energy. I just feel like sacrifice, particularly like through storytelling, is much easier to identify in sort of like that time period. Although a lot of sacrifice does happen today as well, but it's not really sort of depicted in such a heroic story as, you know, kind of like more medieval and kings and queens and knights kind of thing. Because it's almost like doing something that you know is detrimental to you or hurts you in some way, maybe takes an option away from you, but you're, at least there's a greater good that comes out of it. Maybe you're trying to find, or you're trying to understand the greater good of something that you've needed to sacrifice here in your life, or some sacrifice that you have made. Now, you could also be stepping back from sacrificing yourself, being a healing area. Maybe you've been giving too much of yourself obsessively in some area. You've been obsessing in terms of how you can give of yourself. And maybe that ends up becoming more sacrificial than it's just helpful too. I want to read. There's a couple spots in here. It's just the top line for this card, sacrifice. That's what you've been healing. Even if I have to break apart, as long as it serves a purpose, right? That's, yeah. I have accepted my duty, and in my release, I found freedom. Yeah. There's a strong power in sacrifice. Our fears, our hopes, they are all chains to a small world. Our sense of self is a small petty creature of uncertain resolve and shaky horizons. With sacrifice, we renounce our sense of self. We accept to be lost. We accept to be shaken and cut and bruised and hurt and burdened and locked and stricken and despised and gossiped and betrayed and misunderstood. Maybe these are even things that, wow, yeah, that maybe you've even gone through. You've healed from this. Right, like even thinking of the knight leaving the kingdom. Why did the knight, or why did the king or the queen leave the kingdom? They've betrayed us. They have left. But maybe, right, you went to slay the dragon. Went to slay the dragon. And in slaying the dragon, you risk your life. But those that you leave behind think, well, what the fuck? Okay, so here's where it gets interesting. What is starting to blossom? Okay, remember, what have you been working on? Obsession. And what is starting to blossom? Addicted. I thought that was pretty interesting. Now, you had obsession and addicted in these two energies, two placements for right now. This is the current energy that I'm picking up for you, that Spirit wants to talk about. So, what are you addicted to? Is it pain? Is it, you know, it's giving me the energy of the sacrifice, because look at all the swords in the back. All the swords in the back. I don't know. I feel like you've had to do something here and people don't understand why. It's almost as if when it says addicted, it feels almost just like perpetual. Like, and I mean in terms of you may not be addicted, or you're just accustomed. It could be accustomed too. Accustomed to being stabbed in the back, to being betrayed, to, that's blossoming. All of this betrayal. So in some way, all of this betrayal is starting to blossom for you. You've made the sacrifice and you've been betrayed. It's kind of how it shows up, right? Now, I mean, it could also, too, be something very obvious here with obsession into addicted. Because an obsession can turn into an addiction for sure. So be careful with that. That's why I feel a little bit like I could pull tarot in your reading. Because, you know, it could be pointing to something here that you do really need to be mindful of, so that you are not codependent on something that is currently just an obsession, right? Because once you become codependent on an obsession, the obsession now owns you and you lose some sense of free will here. So, do you want to see the future? That's interesting. It's so interesting. Okay, what will you finish working on in the future? Peaceful among thorns. I have to read from the book for this one. It's so fascinating. But the obvious here, right, is, well, read for you from the book is what I want to do. But the obvious here is when there is a lot of strife and conflict, you can find peace. You will, literally, it won't be difficult or a challenge for you to do that. Like when there is a strife, conflict, difficulties around you, You will easily flow into a period of peace here. So maybe you're even obsessively trying to do that. I mean, which would be actually be really, to some degree, I want to say, a healthy, like that, I guess that could be a healthy obsession. Like, I'm working on it, I'm working on it, I'm working on it, I'm working on it. Obsessed with doing something here. And the fact that you show up on the other side here, what will you finish working on? Like, what have you been working on right now is obsession. And what will you finish working on in the future is this peaceful among the thorns. It doesn't matter how tough it gets, you will find your peace. That can't be disturbed here. Even if something is more difficult in the future than it is now for you, you won't feel that. You will find like a true sense of peace here. Okay, let me read you this. Okay, this is interesting. I thought this was quite fascinating. All right. The spiritual can't solve the material, but it can transcend it. Coexistence of the material and the spiritual is the human way to enlightenment. All right, now listen to this part. Listen to this part. We talk too much about spiritual stuff, spiritual that, spiritual this. Not that the spiritual side isn't important, especially in an age when everything seems reduced to a materialistic drive. But aren't we going too much to the other side? I have a money problem. Go spiritual. I have a health problem. Go spiritual. I have a love problem. Think of true love and go spiritual. I want to have sex. Go spiritual. If we were truly able to solve problems like this, what is spiritual would have been sold in grocery stores. Sometimes to solve money problems, you need money. And to solve love problems, you need to, it sounds a little crude. Sorry. I can say it as a swear word, but I can't say it as, doing the dirty. That's what it says. It says, and to solve love problems, you need to fuck. But anyways, okay. Strange, but isn't that kind of prudish for an Aries? Strange, but true. Getting spiritual is not what solves our problems. It is what gives depth to our solutions. It makes them meaningful. It takes us from the small to the wide, from the river to the ocean. But sometimes we are not ready to make it our center, and therefore it's perfectly fine if we do not. I don't know. I feel like you're good. You're flowing. You're in a groove. You find your way of perhaps getting through something difficult in your life. Or if the world is just a shit show, which it's a little bit that way, you find peace. You find your peace in whatever way you need to. So I don't know if you need to go get fucked. If you need to, I don't know, you need more money. I don't know what it is. Isn't that interesting? So that's what you're going to finish working on. Okay. Now, what will be healed for you? Okay. So what you're healing right now is sacrifice. Okay. And what will be healed is the masquerade. Is in some way here where you're pretending to be one thing when you're the other, or you're doing this so that people think you're doing that. But that to me feels like each one of these is connected. The obsession is connected into being peaceful among the thorns. The sacrifice is connected to the masquerade. And I want to bring that around again, just like this knight with her sword is, okay, why would the knight leave without telling? I don't know why. It's just like there's something, because I don't know why the knight is leaving in this story, but it's kind of how it plays out. That the knight goes off on an adventure, but no. It's almost like, let's say the knight had a younger sibling, and the knight knows that that younger sibling would not be capable of slaying the dragon. And there's a good chance that the younger sibling could end up killed or hurt or maimed. So you tell the younger sibling, like you tell someone here that, well, I'm going to a volcano and I'm going to meet a volcanologist. What do they call people that, for volcanoes? And it's like, oh yeah, you know, the younger sibling's not going to be interested in that at all. Or you just don't say anything and you go. And then, so, right, because there's this sacrifice here, like you're doing something that feels like, right, like it's honorable. You're doing something that's honorable. You're going to slay the dragon. But either they don't know, someone doesn't know why. They don't know why you're doing something. They don't know why you're doing something. And you're going to be healing this masquerade. Because this also comes into, like, it's as if you are taking all of the shots. You're taking all of the daggers. You're taking all of the pain. You're taking all of the pain in something. But it's almost like you're showing up like you're not. But you're going to heal that. Like, it looks like now, like you're showing up like you're not. But the masquerade will fall. And look at this. What will be ready to harvest is the triumph over lies. Triumph of lies. If you feel you need to masquerade around others, like, that will be healed for you. If there's a way that you can't show up authentically, yeah, I don't know why. There's a reason. That will be healed. The truth. I feel like, too, with what will be ready to harvest, to say the triumph over lies, is the truth. The truth will be ready to harvest in the future. I see you in great peace here, to be honest. Like, I see you in great peace in the future, with a great peace in your life. And I don't know, in whatever way you've needed to do something and people don't know why you do it, or what you're doing, or maybe what your motives are, that you will triumph over all of that in the future. I mean, maybe it has something to do with sort of like a spiritual calling for you, or, you know, and this sacrifice. I need to pull tarot. I really do. In yours. Isn't that funny too? Like, going to such a spiritual sign. I need to pull tarot in yours. Okay, obsession. What is this obsession that you've been working on? Oh my gosh. Spiritualism. Spiritualism or hidden secrets, hidden information, the things that you don't know. Are you obsessed over the things that you don't know? Or are you obsessed in keeping something hidden? Wow, the High Priestess, obsession. What is the sacrifice that you've been healing? The Eight of Swords and the Ten of Pentacles. There's like a lot of people don't know what you're doing. I mean, when I say it, like, it could be even a family. Like, you're sacrificing having a family, or you've sacrificed for your family. You're definitely sacrificing for something bigger than you with the Ten of Pentacles, the Eight of Swords. Is this even a financial sacrifice? You're making a financial sacrifice? What is this Ten of Pentacles? Like, it feels like it could be a family or a group. Could be where you were. Ooh. The Ten of Swords and Judgment. Oh, yes. Right? Is the Ten of Swords just like addicted? Let me see addicted before I say anything. There's so much coming to mind, but let me just say addicted, because it's got all those swords. She's Five of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands. Isn't it interesting? He's going to slay a fucking dragon. He talking about with the knight. He's going to slay a fucking dragon. to be on the outskirts to slay the dragon. Wow. That's the addiction. That's what's getting ready to blossom. Is being on the outside. Like it's as if you're either different or you have kind of a different calling. I don't know what it is here that you're doing. But there's a lot of people, or there's family or someone that doesn't see it. And there's betrayal. It's having a new beginning after a betrayal, after being betrayed. Maybe too that there's a little bit of yourself here that's been running away from betrayal. Like when someone has betrayed you, going in the other direction and finding a point of focus, like with the Knight of Wands, the sacrifice. Addicted to, it's almost like you're addicted to sacrifice. You're addicted to sacrifice. Slaying the dragon, but it's like you do it on your own. It feels, like a couple of things, like I would almost say like no good deed goes unpunished. It also feels like you could be doing something quite, I don't know, if heroic is the right word, but doing something here that's just, but that is unknown. This is a bit like someone who's not necessarily getting a reward for something that they're doing. And not even that it's not a reward, but it almost feels as if you take some hits for it. You take some serious hits for whatever it is that you do. So that's the energy that I'm looking at right now. Blossom. So in the future, you will finish working on Peaceful Among Thorns. So, okay, I want to say also, well, let's see. Let's see. Don't say anything, Cindy. The Empress, the Two of Wands, and the Devil. Oh my God. This is unaffected. This is what you will be. This is unaffected. All I keep hearing is unaffected. Like, right, the Empress has like so much to give and so much abundance and just a wonderful, fruitful energy. And then the Devil, it's not very nice, right? But and look, it is peaceful among the thorns. I feel like the thorns represent some sort of bad reputation or something, though. Yeah, it's a bit like a bad reputation, this energy here. But it's unwarranted, and it feels, I want to say it's unwarranted and it's unfair. But I'm assuming with the sacrifice card, nobody said life was going to be fair. So what abundance and beautiful nurturing energy you have within yourself, that will not be affected by either outside hostilities or really uncomfortable, prickly energies. Like your peace is your sovereign. Your peace is your sovereign. So if you've been working on that, you will complete that in the future. To have, well, I talk about emotional sovereignty. This is peaceful sovereignty, regardless of what happens around you. Well, what will be healed? The Masquerade. The the Hermit and the Four of Swords. The healing by yourself, but you're not well. Or you're giving some impression here, right? Like even the Hermit card with this peaceful among thorns. There's a super strong spiritual energy in your reading, which is also really funny with the peaceful among thorns, because, well, I feel like there's a whole other side of you here that is not being explored. And that's what is going to be healed in the future. It's like if you're masquerading as this deep, healing, reflective person, not to say that you're not, but there's another side here of you, to you. Right? Just as this peaceful among thorns card talked about. If everything was a spiritual solution, you would sell it in the grocery store. Right? It just gives us a reflection towards our deeper answers. But it's not necessarily a solution. So I feel like this is almost you coming out of something here. Or if you've been hiding, what have you been doing? What are you doing? Because you're the Emperor. You're the sad Emperor. Or you've saddened the Emperor. What are you doing? The Emperor, the Five, because I said, what have you been doing? The Emperor, the Five of Cups. What are you doing? It's like you're the sad Emperor. But so I wanted to ask that because I see in the future, right, that a way that you're showing up that's not real, it's not who you are as a permanent archetype, is what is being removed here from what is known or perceived of you. And what that is like somebody who is very isolated, somebody who is very pious, very spiritual. And it's not to say that's not you, but there's a whole other part of you here that gets missed or is being missed. And I feel like that's part of the sacrifice. Because the Emperor is not the Hermit, right? They're completely different. So there's another part of you here that will be, to some degree, freed. The Triumph of Lies is what will be ready to harvest. The Four of Cups and the Queen of Swords. Wow. It's like really, truly seeing the opportunities around you or declaring them. It's seeing things for what they truly are. I feel like it's you. I feel like it's you being seen for what you truly are. Or who you truly are. Man, that's what I have. One of those weeks. It's going to be one of those deep weeks, my friends. We have the Six of Cups at the bottom. There's Scorpio energy, which is kind of funny, right? All right. I'm going to do the extended. In the extended, I'm going to add, so, right, because I'm looking at you, your energy today now, and then I'm looking at the energy in the future. I want to see what's in the middle there. I want to see as you work your way towards the future, what is your personal challenge? What is a personal challenge working your way into this future energy? What is a distraction that you need to be aware of? And what is an area to focus on? If you do want to do the extended, there's two options below in the description. You can either join the membership through YouTube. And if you decide to do that, it's the second tier, all extended videos, or you can do a one-time purchase below in that link. Thank you so much, everybody. Until next time, be gentle with yourselves. Bye.